Konnichiwa, Aibowan, and hello. I am Dharshan. I am Japanese, I am Sri Lankan, I am fusion. I've hungered and I've eaten my way to make Nihonbashi what it is. Today, join my journeys in Sri Lanka and Japan as I choose ingredients or simply enjoy food, for I am what I eat. Cook with me as I show you the magical ingredient in any dish you cook is you.
Culinary Journeys with Dharshan Season 2. On a beautiful day, blue skies, white clouds, white beaches. Sri Lanka is such a beautiful country that we can actually find great ingredients right underneath the sand. I've been doing this for the last 12 years in front of the Jetwing Beach Hotel. My daughter and I would come here, we would dig up clams and make amazing dishes. We are here to dig these. A close relative of Asari in Japan, an Italian Tellini. It's amazing that a tourist resort like Negombo with these beautiful hotels on the beach, you dig a few inches and you can find these gems. Sri Lankan oceans are so beautiful and clean that you can have these without any problem. You dig a few inches underneath the sand, and the best times are like at 7 in the morning or around 5 or 6 p.m. So if you have time, drive over here, dig some clams, take some bucket loads home. Sometimes the best ingredients are not available in the market, supermarkets or suppliers. We are such a beautiful country, abundant with natural resources. It's right under our feet. 5 minutes from the place where we were digging for clams. We took a boat ride and we are here at the fish market. This is a place that I come here most of the time, and this is the first time I've come from the ocean like the fishermen do. It's an amazing sight to see this fish market from this angle. You can't make great dishes out of bad ingredients, but you can make amazing ones with really good ingredients. And as a restaurant owner, the sea has so much seafood, but in Colombo it's really hard to find. I come here so often to find amazing inspirational fish, crabs, prawns, cuttlefish. And today we are here filming while I'm buying stuff for the restaurant. We got a few dishes planned. The clams are one, and I'm going to see what else we can buy today to show you what we can do with that. Buying fish here is an amazing experience. You just cannot spend 30 minutes just looking what's available. You need to spend like 2 hours because the boats keep coming in here with different catches. And I've spent about an hour looking what's available, bought a few things, but it keeps on coming and it keeps on giving. I'm not here with something planned to purchase. I come here and see what's available. I mean, the weather plays a big deal in what's available, and pricing also. Here seems to be Colombo's favorite fish, and I think most of you would see this fish being gray. It's greeny, bluey, shining. This is the color of fresh fish. And I would love to have this in my restaurant. But today, we're going to cook this for you. This place has amazing seafood, but the cold chain that comes to Colombo to deliver, not so great. What I'm going to do is to take the stomach out, because that's where fish starts rotting. All I'm doing is taking the stomach contents out. So, really fresh fish. You don't have to wash it after you cut it. But please, you've got to clean the outside of the fish. And if you take the stomach out, you can pack ice in here, so it's going to be fresh by the time it gets back. To carry fish from here, you need a lot of ice. The biggest difference about Japan and the rest of the world is the technology and the attention to detail when packing fish. Japanese fish travel the world now. They go in beautiful Ridgeform boxes with ice. But sometimes with the ice hitting the fish, it can damage the fish. They put cushions. And that thinking, I mean, for centuries, is one reason that in Japan you can have anything raw. Yeah. We're heading back to Colombo. We're going to cook some amazing stuff in the new kitchen built by Haperley.
Welcome to my brand new kitchen. This kitchen was built by Hayfale about 3 months ago, and I wanted a kitchen at my height. I mean, you should design kitchens so that you can cook in it. It's a personal representation of who you are, what your cooking style is, and design a kitchen based on that. This kitchen is full of wonderful gizmos, like things that open at a touch, and I've been cooking here. It's really, really fun. Today we are going to start with the sear we got, and when you cook a fish, the most important thing is how you cut it. I mean, in Japanese cooking, we just cut fish and we serve it to you. You need to have really sharp knives. There's a technique to it. And when you're cooking a fish, how you cut depends on what you're going to make. Don't get it chopped up and cut into cubes and slices like everyone does in Sri Lanka. Think what you want from the fish and cut accordingly. So let's get chopping. You need a really sharp knife. First incision right on top of here. Cut it around the gill there and up to the bone. Switch it around, same cut. And here you can technically separate the head. Voila. Since I took the stomach out in Nigambo, there's no messy things coming out. Next, I'm going to make a teriyaki today and another dish which I want the whole fillet. So I'm going to debone it. I'm going to start from the top of the spine, of the left side of the fish, and go along the bones. Switch it around. Tail side, same cut. And this should separate the meat from the bone. Then we cut the middle of the fish. That's one half of the fish. It was really easy. You struggle when you don't have sharp knives. I'm not going to wash this with chlorinated tap water. When you do that, you're actually introducing a foreign agent and you're going to ruin the fish. So I'm going to keep it as it is. Switch it around. Same thing on the other side of the fish. Middle of the fish again. Two beautiful halves. This part is the best part of the fish. If you're going to make a fish curry, make sure you use the bone. The greatness of flavor, the umami, comes from the bone and not from the meat, so you need to keep this. If you're going to make a curry, keep this and just bend it into a few pieces. Take the tail off, yeah? But put this inside and throw it later. This is going to be really, really crucial for a curry. I put one half of the fish in the fridge because I want to work with one first. I'm going to clean it up a little bit. I'm going to take a knife and take these bones that are at the top, take its fins out, and whatever that you don't want, you can cut it away. Then I'm going to take the bones off. Just keep feeling with your hand if you miss any. This is like the best invention ever. Boneless fish in a hurry. To cut this fish, I want to cut it with a little bit of skin left on the top. I want to cut against the grain like you would do in beef. I'm going to flip it over because you can see the flesh grain going this way, to my right. Flip it, and then I'm going to go diagonally. Look how simple and beautiful fish can be. No smell. You can do this indoors as long as the fish is fresh. And I keep on emphasizing the fact that fresh fish is important for a good dish because you can't go wrong with it. You can go wrong with really, really bad fish. You can't make a great dish out of bad fish. To make a good dish, the easiest step, good fish. Modified version of teriyaki. At Nihonbashi, we make teriyaki with lots of ingredients: onions, apples, carrots, chicken stock. But this one, something you can do at home. A little bit of mirin, maybe 2 tablespoons, and then soy sauce, almost equal quantity. A little bit of sugar, and if you like, a pinch of chili. In Japan, you would have used shichimi, but putting a pinch of chili in there. I'm going to give it a stir to dissolve the crystals of sugar in there. Then taste. Next thing is to cook the fish. I'm going to dab it with a little bit of corn flour on the sides and then put it on a frying pan. put some butter. I'm going to grab the fish and dab it with a little bit of flour and put it. Unlike fish from cold waters where you have a lot of oils coming out, our waters are too warm for fish to have fat, but occasionally we have a little bit of fat in some tuna that I get. Cooking on a medium heat, and you don't have to cook too long. I mean, it's really, really fresh fish. The flour is going to coat it with a little bit of crust, and that's going to absorb all the sauces I'm going to put in here. And while that's crusting, I'm just going to get a plate with some rice on it. And to this, I'm going to add the sauce that we just made. A lot of sizzling noise, and you're done. A little bit of sauce on top. You can make it a bit like restaurant-y if you just do some of this. Spicy teriyaki sear, so easy to make, so wonderful, but remember, you need fresh fish. Fish from cold waters have a lot of fat on them, and actually it's the best part about fish when they have fat. They are really healthy, it's omega-3 fats. But in Sri Lanka, with our country being so close to the equator, we don't have much fat on fish. So when you freeze it and cook it, you see it becoming very flaky, very floury, and it gets really, really dry. We are going to cook a fresh fish, and we are not going to let it become flaky. But for added flavor, I'm going to use fat. And today, in terms of fat, I'm going to use butter and a little bit of oil. I want to do a baked fish. And baked fish has so many connotations. It's sometimes really, really boring. But it's not baked in an oven. I want to do something so that you can relate to and do at home. We're going to use our spices today and make a curried, baked, seared fish. I got some melted butter. Just microwave it for a few seconds. And to this, I'm going to add a bit of turmeric. Very little. It's really, really powerful stuff. Love it. Chili powder and some curry powder. You can play around with the quantities here. I mean, it's up to you how hot and how deep and browny you want, or yellow or red you want. And a pinch of salt. And give it a gentle mix. I'm thinking how big the piece of fish I'm going to cut, and I think I need a little bit more salt. So another big pinch there. This is all the salt I'm going to use. I'm not adding some more, so this should be enough. Now let's get to the piece of fish. Again, I need to trim a little bit of the blood out. Instead of taking the bones out, I mean, there's another way of taking the bones out, but you technically separate the fish into two sides. You cut on one side of the bone, get one fillet, and you do the same, keeping the bones in the middle. Goes out. So you have two boneless pieces of fish that we're going to do stuff to. I'm going to cut it, each loin, into 3. So we get 3 beautiful medallions. Look at the piece of fish I've got here. It's still shining. This is what you can get in Sri Lanka so easily, and we're blessed with beautiful fish like this. So make sure you get stuff like this. I'm going to grab one of these. I'm going to slowly dab it with the butter mixture. Apply it. Oh, this is a funny feeling. It's like gooey, and I know it's spicy. I have a little bit extra on the underside because that's going to be the cooking surface so that the beautiful flavors come up. At this point, there are no bones on the fish. You're not going to cut yourself or hurt yourself. If you have kids, get them to do this. It's better than playing with clay. It's fun. And one thing is that they would actually eat all this because they made it on their own. Now to the fun part of cooking it. Today we are cooking with the banana leaf. I think we all South Asians know how great it is to wrap things up in banana leaf, how when you cook stuff in it, it tastes better. Or when you put like a rice and curry in a warm one on this banana leaf and just pack it in there, it brings out these beautiful flavors. So we're going to use this on a frying pan, but to cook the fish. Before that, we'll dab some butter, just spread it unevenly all over, and then cut this to size so that it can get into my frying pan. And I'm just going to put the fish on here after I put it on the pan. I'm going to put a few drops of oil in there. That's it. The great thing about cooking with banana leaf is that you're actually making your own non-stick pan. There we go. I'm putting the skin side up so that the extra butter on the bottom side would come up. I'm going to close it and cook it on a low flame for 1 minute. When you use a cover, you're actually creating a chamber of heat, steam technically. There's enough moisture in the fish so that it's going to have this huge space of steam around it. It smells beautiful. After you flip it over, close it, and you need to give it about maybe 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes to cook. You started out with a very strong flame in the beginning, so the first side would just take 1 minute. And I saw it being exactly half line there. It's done, 3 minutes. The key in this dish is not to overcook fish. I've seen many households just overcook fish so much that it just kills it. Make sure you don't cook it for too long. I mean, this is tender and it's all the way cooked. There you go. Now we're going to cook the clams that we dug up. I've left these clams in seawater for about 4 hours. If you can keep them overnight, much better. These creatures have a lot of sand in them and we have to get them out. And the best way is to put them in a strainer, keep them in seawater, and put something metallic. In my case, I just put a teaspoon. You can put a knife, a fork, something. And that helps these animals to increase their speed of how they breathe in the water and flush it out. So you wouldn't get sand when you're biting onto them. They're still alive. Grab a saucepan. We don't need much to cook this with. This is already salty because it was inside salt water. I'm going to grab some butter. About 1/2 inch worth. And let it melt. Clams are really nice stuff to cook, but they need to be alive when you cook it. If they're dead, you shouldn't eat them. If they do not open up in the cooking process, you should not eat them. In other countries, you can buy them, which is already in netted bags, and they were kept in seawater, and then you just take them out. But here we do the real stuff of actually going and digging for them. Close it and wait for all of them to open up. You can hear a little bit popping noise, and you can see it opening up slowly. Give it some more heat, it's going to open up more. This is an amazing stock to play around with. But for me, because it's so fresh, with a lot of seawater inside, it's very salty. So we need to rinse it out with a little bit of hot water. So it's 80% cooked. I'm going to grab some hot water in here. A few drops of soy sauce, not too much. And a tinsy bit of sake. If you don't have sake, use some white wine. And we're done. That's all. They're all opened up like butterflies. It's been a tiring day. Early morning, digging for clams, boat ride, walked the length and breadth of Negombo Fish Market, and we saw some amazing seafood. We did this show last year in Singapore also, and we went to fish markets over there. Our seafood is way fresher than what they have. If you have really, really good stuff, you can make beautiful, beautiful dishes. My daughter's favorite is the clams, and I kept it until she came back from school so that she can have some. I hope you try some of these dishes. See you next time.